Welcome to the third webcast of Digital Raven. My name is Ryan. Unfortunately, we do have to start off with some bad news today. One of our friends who was going to help us work on the movie was killed. He was a San Diego police officer. If you're interested in knowing any information about him or his family, there is a link provided below. You can check it out. We are also going to go ahead and dedicate our first short film to the memory of Jason. But let's move on to the meat and potatoes of the episode. We're going to be talking about whether or not it's better to buy blood or make blood. As Halloween season approaches, and as you know, we are making an action horror film with zombies, blood is going to be important. Now, you can run out, if you're going to do something on your own, or we could have, run out and just bought some bottle of blood, bucket of blood, gallon of blood. There's all sorts of different companies that exist. But we did a little bit of research, kind of went back to the way the original masters did it, and wanted to really create our own blood, so it gave us a lot more control. Did a little bit of research online, which you can do anytime you want. Hitting up Wikipedia or eHow will definitely give you lots of information. A lot of people mix in some pretty crazy stuff. If you go back down to the Psycho days, it was just chocolate syrup. However, we're gonna get a little more technical, and I'm gonna kind of talk to you about what we decided to do. We actually talked to a few different makeup artists, as well as digging a little bit into my experience working with a haunted hotel to kind of get an idea of where we wanted to go. So to jump right into it, the things that are really important are Karo syrup. Now, a lot of people will use a clear Karo syrup, a white Karo syrup rather than a dark one. Now that's good, except blood is dark. Specifically, infected zombie blood is going to be dark, so we're actually just going to start off with a dark one. Of course, you're always going to want to use something like red food coloring or any other sort of red food gel, which we also have. And then you're going to need to thicken it up with a few ingredients, which we're actually not going to show you. There are a lot of options out there, and the best is to really sort of experiment. However, the gentleman who shared his blood recipe with us that we're getting our thickening agent from, we're not necessarily going to share it with you guys. And then we're going to add some soy sauce. Again, this is going to add a little bit of color, and it's also going to make cleanup just a little easier. So to go ahead and move into it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pour all of my ingredients into a big tub. I guess it's a pot, not a tub. And it's going to make funny noises, of course, as cooking shows always make funny noises. Now, I'm making a lot of it, and the reason I'm making a lot of it is we're going to use a lot of it. Something to keep in mind is you're going to end up with lots of containers like this that could then be used again to store it in. We also have some empty water bottles, some other containers that we can use in case we need some more. So again, I'm starting out with the Karo syrup, and this is going to give this really nice, thick consistency. Blood is not exactly watery and runny. If you do go back and watch a lot of the classic horror films, as I did, I actually just watched Omega Man and then compared it with I Am Legend. You'll see this kind of red paint, very liquidy red paint used in a lot of old movies like Omega Man. And then, of course, you move into a lot of the newer stuff, and we're kind of getting to this thicker, nasty, coagulated looking material. And that's because blood definitely is not as liquidy as water. Again, I'm just going to kind of mix everything together, and as you can see, I'm just using a plastic fork. I'm using a plastic fork because I don't necessarily want to dirty anything that I'm not going to be able to clean easily. If you're going to go ahead and do this in your mom's kitchen with your mom's pots, you might want to not use your mom's heirloom wooden spoon, or it'll be red and she won't be happy with you. Now, once that's done, and you do find your thickening agent, some examples are flour. A lot of people use flour. Some people will use a gelatin. You know, you can use Jell-O. Oddly enough, you can use sugars. I've heard of sugars being used, or chocolate syrup. Chocolate syrup is very, very common because, you know, you want this to be edible. And as you can see, it's not quite there yet, but it is getting there. Now, what we might do as we move along is some other stuff. We could look into mixing in chunks of rubber, little pieces of tissue paper or paper towel, or even cotton balls to kind of give it that nasty, old, icky, fake feeling. Now, the thing to remember when you are starting to look into blood recipes are there are a lot of great blood recipes out there that you can just find right off the bat. Make sure if you're going to have it on somebody's face, in somebody's mouth, or anything like that, that it's edible. Some of the best, oldest blood recipes that were used in the old classic horror films use motor oil. not something you want in your mouth or your actors' mouths. It's also very difficult to clean up. These are all things to take into consideration. We're going to go ahead and move on now to talk with one of our makeup artists as she goes ahead and works through making up a zombie. And later on, we are going to show you a little test with a rig that we actually built, combining a few other methods, which we'll let you know a bit more about later on in the episode. So let's take it on over to Erica and we'll keep going.
Hi, I'm Erica, and this is Keith. He's going to be our zombie today. We're with the short film City 7, and we're going to give you a little tutorial on how to do some zombie makeup. So Keith has volunteered, and I basically got him set up with some foundation and some powder, as well as some white makeup that you can get from the Halloween store. Now this is just really inexpensive. You can get it at Walmart or Party City for like $2. And it works great for just getting that basic zombie look. But we're gonna try some other techniques today with some things that you can also find at any type of costume shop. You probably won't find this at Walmart or Target. It's liquid latex. You can get it at Party City and a couple different makeup shops. And basically, you just put some in a cup with a popsicle stick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Keith, can you hold down your eyebrows with your hands? Just your eyebrows, just up here. Those are your eyelids, silly. Your eyebrows up here, just hold them down. There we go. And I'm basically just going to put some of this liquid latex over his skin right here. And you just put it on with the popsicle stick. And then we're going to take a hair blow dryer so we can get it to dry a little bit faster. Basically, when Keith releases his eyebrows, this is going to give him a really wrinkly forehead. So it kind of looks like it's dead skin. So just put a nice layer on there. And I will get the hair blow dryer, which we're basically going to set on low. And always check in with the person you're doing the makeup on. Is this too hot? Are you all right?
It's okay right this second.
Okay. Well, we'll let that set up for a few minutes. You can release your eyebrows. There you go. See how it's kind of got a weird little crease right there on his forehead? It'll take a few moments just to dry, but we can also set it with some powder. And again, this is just like your basic powder that you can get from the drugstore. It's fairly inexpensive. And we'll just dust some over that. So we're kind of starting to get his fake dead skin going. Another technique that a lot of folks like to use is using just Quick Oats. Basic Quick Oats you get from the grocery store, and you mix it in with a little liquid latex. Just like so. And basically this gives you that flaking off look. And we'll just put some of this over here on the other side of his forehead. A little bit too much there. Let's try this out. But basically, you kind of want to just glop it on there. You're starting to make them look pretty gross. And of course, you always want to make sure that whoever you're working on is wearing a shirt that they probably won't wear again because you're going to get crap all over it.
And seriously, who'd wear this shirt again?
Somebody bought that. All right. Another technique that you can also try, and it's a little warm in here, so this is kind of melting a little bit, is using gelatin. And this is your basic gelatin that you get from the store. Make it up without the fruit juice. So just regular gelatin, put it in the fridge for a few hours, and then you can heat it up in the microwave for about anywhere from 5 to 10 second intervals. Once those intervals are completed, go ahead and test it first to make sure it's not too hot before you put it on your actor. So we're going to add some gelatin right here with this popsicle stick and just kind of start draping it around the skin. It gives it a little bit of a glistening glow. And always do this before or after I should say, you put on the liquid latex, because otherwise the liquid latex, when you try to dry it with the blow dryer, gets all over the place. You can then cover up some of the gelatin with any type of like red food coloring based dye. Now you want to make sure, like Ryan said earlier, you're not using any type of oil-based dye, like a motor oil or anything like that, on your actor's skin. It has to be something that can be ingested, something that can be used, that's non-toxic, that won't make them break out or make them sick or anything like that. So basically we've got a little bit of a red wound there. We'll toss on some more powder. And we're just about there. We're just your basic, easy zombie. So we're back. We added a few extra details on our little break that we just had. You can see the oatmeal still up at the top a little bit, but we added some fake blood, as well as using the liquid latex as a base, we applied tissue, just your regular old toilet paper. You kind of wad it up, you kind of crinkle it over the nose or maybe up here on the head, and then let it dry and put a little bit of makeup over it and it looks great. The final touch for our zombies is usually the smile, because our zombies usually have pretty scary teeth. Now this is just your basic teeth paint that you can actually get at Walmart, costume shops. You don't want to try using any type of junk, anything that's not really going to work. You want to use specifically teeth paint. Don't use regular paint, kids. No matter if you don't like the person you're putting it on. We like this guy, so we'll put a little on here. You can see it's kind of making a little bit of a greenish gold, so we can give him a ghastly smile. There we go. Kind of dirties up the teeth a little bit. Grab another one of these. And you always want to throw a little extra blood around the mouth, so it looks like they've really been having a good time. All right, there you go. A little bit of gold. Now he's ready for the next part of our webinar today, where he's going to get what most good zombies get to have happen to them.
Shot in the head.
Shot in the head.
The moment you've all been waiting for, practical blood effects. We're going to be using 3 different types of practical blood effects in our movie. We're going to be using the old tried and true balloon or condom method. If you're not really sure what this is, Romero employed it a lot in his original films. His makeup artist, his effects artist used it a lot. Basically, they would take a condom, they would fill it up with fake blood, much like this stuff right here, which you guys saw us make earlier. Then they would go ahead and they would make a star pattern cut in it. They would run a piece of fishing line in through it, fill it up with blood. The fishing line would be taped to the back. Then they would have somebody else hold the fishing line off camera. You know, you got the little condom in here. Somebody else pulls it. As they pull it from off camera, Keith's gonna jerk back. Gonna look like he was shot in the shoulder. Now, those are really good, especially for service hits, things that aren't that dramatic, real quick things that, it's a very cheap, easy, very cool looking practical effect. Now, keep in mind, if you are gonna run out and try this blood effect, you might want an adult to go with you if you are a child making a movie, or you might wanna just exercise a little bit of professionalism when you're buying condoms for use in this way. The other thing you can do, obviously, as I mentioned, is use a balloon. Balloons are a little less easy to kind of rip apart. They have a little less tension, the type of tension you want, but they do work. The second thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this really nifty rig, which we actually we discovered from watching Wayside Creations. There should be a video somewhere around here in this general area, anywhere on Keith's face. Or you can kind of go ahead and figure out how they did that. And then the third one we're going to be doing is actually one that was used in Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, which I've played around with a little bit and tried to recreate. And it uses an air compressor and kind of a complex series of air chambers. Today, the one that we are going to be showing you is the one we did get from Wayside Creations, and we're going to blow a hole in Keith's pretty zombie face. Are you ready, Keith? All right, let's go ahead and shoot Keith in the head. 3, 2, 1, go.